How's it going, Rogues Gallery, and welcome to another Shadowverse Evolve video here on Red Zone Rogue. The Shadowverse Isekai Tournament arc is upon us, the Paragons of the Coliseum, and I could not be more excited. This set is an absolute banger, and today we are going to go over some of the key cards, as well as share some potential deck archetypes for the upcoming format. These are the decks that I'm personally looking to build, and you can see them, when I finally do my, 9-10 deck deep dive for Paragons of the Coliseum. And I did mention that it's an isekai tournament, and it totally is. Like, you have these champions from all over the Shadowverse, and they are converging atop this colossal mammoth, and they're battling in this Coliseum. It's really, really cool, and we have some of the best characters in Shadowverse finally joining the fight. Like Fylene, Kuan, and my girl Ginsetsu Great Fox here. So I'm really excited. Let's get on with it. So, as mentioned, we're going to basically go over some of the cards, and then we're going to share some decks. And, yeah. You can follow along with me on the official Shadowverse Evolve website. If you want to see the card lists once they're posted, just go to, I said that weird, once they're posted, you just go to the Shadowverse evolve.com, so en.shadowverse-evolve.com. You go to decks here. And from decks, not decks, what am I doing? You go to cards. I mean, you can go to decks if you want to check out the decks, but we're going to go to cards and then scroll down and go to the set Paragons of the Coliseum. And then from there, we can see that there's 190 cards. There's a little bit less than that, actually, because this includes all of the parallel foils and stuff. We're going to talk about some of that stuff as well. But let's, without further ado, get on to some of the cards. So, the first ones that I want to talk about are, well, the legendaries are obviously really key pieces, and this one in particular, Maga Forest Champion, she's really, really cool in that she kind of helps form her own deck archetype. And it's the Hunter archetype, right? So she is a 4/4 for 6 that you can evo for 2. She has Storm and Bane, which is awesome. And then on Fanfare, you're gonna look at the top 4 cards of your deck, and then you can summon a Hunter follower that costs 4 or less among them. Put the rest on the bottom in any order. So it's kind of it's almost kind of like this this Alice style effect. And then she also has her Evo version. I'm not going to click on the card every time, so we don't have to keep going back. The Evo version also has Storm and Bane. It's a 5/5, and on Evo you look at the top 4 cards of your deck, and you can put a Hunter follower that costs 4 or less among them. So like I said, it's very much like Alice. You actually get this double card advantage. But this one is pretty cool because you get to put them just directly in play, which is just super, super cool. But they have to be the Hunter archetype, and we do have some cards to support that, like the Woodland Cleaver here, which is a new Hunter card. 2-drop 2/2 Evo for 1. If it's put on the field by an ability, you give it Storm, which is really, really cool. So if you put it onto the field by Maga's ability, you get Storm, and then it evos and can deal an enemy follower 2 damage, and it's a 3/3, which is just really cool. So yeah, I am really into the Hunter archetype. Forest, just in general, has not been one of my favorite classes in the game. I really like it still. I love all of the classes in Shadowverse Evolve, but I think Forest is probably my least favorite going into this set. But I'm actually really excited to try the Hunter archetype out, and so we have a deck list we'll share that could be the potential way that I go for that. We also have Fairy Forest, and Fairy Forest is actually really, really strong. This dude, Amataz, the Fairy Blader, is just a key part of this new fairy deck, and we know that this fairy deck is strong because it actually had really, really top results at Grand Prix in the Japanese meta. And so Amataz is a Elf Fey Touch. He's a 2/2 for 2, and on Fanfare you put a fairy token into your EX area, and you give each pixie follower in your EX area +1/+1, and fairies are pixies, and you can activate him, and it says select 2 pixie followers, or up to 2 pixie followers that cost 1 or less on your field, and you give them Storm. So the idea is that you pump up all of your pixies, and then you can give them Storm and just kind of rush down your opponent with Amataz. He's only a 2-drop, so he's really, really good. Another really, really good card for that deck is Fairy Dragon. Fairy Dragon is a 2-drop 0/4. It's only a 2-drop. It has Ward, and on Fanfare, you give this +1 attack for every pixie token on your field and in your EX area. And on Last Words, you put a Fairy Wisp and a Fairy token in your EX area, which is just really, really good. Synergizes well with Amataz, with the whole Fairy thing. Very strong. This Fairy Dragon, super good. Just it's a 2-drop. It's a 2-drop 0/4, and it also has ward. This thing's real annoying. Also Monkey. I don't have any decks play the Monkey, but I like the Monkey. Look at this Monkey, dude. I just like the Monkey. Mallet Monkey. He's cool. All right, well, so that's Forest. So we have like this Hunter archetype, and then we have like this Fairy archetype, and then like Elephant Storm is still pretty good, I think, and still sees a lot of play. But these are the two that I'm going to be looking at potentially building and seeing which ones, you know, I enjoy more. Next we have Sword, one of my favorite crafts in the entire game, and Sword is eating pretty good with this set. I mean, all the classes are eating pretty good. As I said, both of these legendaries for Forest are kind of like deck defining legendaries, and now we also have some really powerful ones in Sword. For Sword, we have the Heroic Sword still, so you can, you know, keep playing with your Heroic Sword. We have Usurpation Sword, which you can also keep playing, and then we have kind of like this, you know, everything in between, just like this aggro sword. They're all fairly aggressive or mid-rangey, and Ralmia really helps with that. She's super strong. I guess you can call it Ralmia Sword as the other one, but you run Ralmia in a bunch of other decks as well. So Ralmia is a 2-drop 3/2, good stats with Rush, just really good stats in general. And then you can Evo her for 3. However, she costs 1 less to Evo for every other follower on your field. So basically, Ralmia just wants you to swarm the board with a bunch of dudes. And then when you evolve her, get her on the screen here. When you evolve her, she is 4/3 with Storm, and then on Evo you can pay 3, and then you give her +1/+1 for every other follower on your field. So if you play Ralmia with 4 other followers on the field, you can Evo her for free, and then so that's a 2 to play her, Evo her for free, and then pay another 3, so 5 total, and then she gets an additional +4/+4. So she attacks for 8 if you have 4 other followers, and then you pay the 3. So attacking for 8 for 5 resources, it's really good. It's really good. You can do your Floral Fencer and then follow, like, if you know, if your opponent doesn't wipe your board, follow it up immediately the next turn with Ralmia and just smash face for 8 Storm. Really good. I also like Kagamitsu, the Matchless Blade. I'm definitely going to want to play him in some of my Sword lists. He's really cool. He has this really cool ability where he can attack multiple times. So he's a 1/1 for 1 with Rush on Fanfare. You give him +X, where X is the number of face-up evolved followers in your Evolve deck. And so when you evolve in Shadowverse Evolve, you turn the Evolve followers, or rather, you evolve them, and then when they like die, they come back into your Evo deck face up. And so basically, he encourages you to Evo all your dudes, and then when you do, he gets really big. And if X is at least 3, Kagamitsu gets Assail, which is really good. And if X is at least 7, you give him Strike, Refresh this follower, perform only once per turn. So he gets Assail, and he just is huge and just kills stuff. And he's still just a 1-drop. He's just really good, but still like kind of like, you know, more of a late game kind of thing. I like Kagamitsu quite a bit. I want to see people break this card. He seems pretty breakable. Yeah, and then Sword just has some other like pretty cool stuff. Like I really like the Steadfast Samurai. It can't take combat damage, and you just pay 2 resources to give it +1/+1 on Rush, and it's a 1-drop. So like you can play this late game and just pump a bunch of resources because you can pay that 2 as many times as you want in a turn. So it's just really good. I don't know. It's just a really cool late game card. Yeah, Sword's getting some pretty cool stuff. I also like, there's some just other ones that I don't think we'll see play. At least not in constructed, but I like this Petalwing Paladin for like limited. If you play like Open 8 and stuff, it's a 6-drop 5/5 that just blows up an enemy follower and draws you a card. Seems really good in like a limited style format. So yeah, really digging Sword, and these are like the key ones. Of course, the legendaries are the key ones. But you know, there's still some other nice things to be had here. All right, I really want to talk about this. This is going to be the bane of many people's existence. We have Kuan, founder of Onmyoto. Kuan is a house, and it is arguably one of the best decks in the entire game once this set comes out. So Kuan is a 15-drop, which you typically can't play. However, of course, there's ways to reduce that, and he's a 5/5. He says, this card costs 1 less to play for every spell, an Onmyoji card in your cemetery. So that counts for both. Pretty good. And fanfare, if there's no Celestial Shikigami, which is just a 4/5 with Aura, if there's no Celestial Shikigami on your field, you summon one, and then you can activate Kuan to select up to 2 Shikigami followers on your field, and you give them Storm. So you give your 4/5 Aura Storm. And so the idea with the Kuan deck is that you play it with D-Shift. So you have a bunch of spell cards in your cemetery, and then you play D-Shift to take an extra turn, or you summon Kuan, and then you play D-Shift to take an extra turn. And then you just kill them with Kuan and your Shikigami, and you don't really need much more because like Kuan can attack for 5, Shikigami can attack for 4 on the turn that you play it. So if you do Kuan, attack for 4, take an extra turn, and that's attacking for another 9 on top of that, so that's 13. So you just need 7 more damage over the course of the game, or just any other follower. Yeah, it's really good. It's a control deck that really can finish the game in a very commanding fashion. So Kuan. He's scary. He's very scary. I'm definitely building Kuan deck. Rune is one of my favorite classes in the game. If you haven't watched a lot of my videos, I would say Rune, Sword, and Abyss, but I really, really love all of them. They all have like just great flavor, and like I said, even though I don't play as much Forest, I'm actually really looking forward to the Hunter Forest, and maybe even the Fairy one too. The Fairy one actually runs Roach again, which I think is cool. Anyway, there's other cards in Rune that I'm excited for. I don't think it sees play as a deck yet, but it's really interesting to me, and it gets my like deck brewer's brain thinking. And that's Mysteria, the Magic Founder, like the actual Mysteria. And she is a 3-drop 2/4. She can Evo for 1, and she has on Fanfare, reveal an Academic Follower from your hand, select an enemy from the field, and deal it 2 damage. And then while this is on your field, any Academic Followers you play cost 1 less. And then when you Evo her, you select an enemy from the field and deal it 3 damage. So she can be like a 3-for-1, right? So on the Fanfare, you can deal 2 damage to something. On the Evo, you can deal 3 damage to something. And then she can also attack into something. So she's pretty good value, but you just need to have like good Academic Followers, right? And so, I don't know. I know this is not like a deck right now. Everyone's going to be jamming Kuan and D-Shift. But this is cool, and I kind of want to play around with this. Maybe it'll become something at some point. And then a lot of the support for Kuan is actually in this set too. So this set's actually a really good set to get like a lot of Runecraft cards for. Obviously, you need like D-Shift, but there's a lot of stuff like your traditional Sorcerer here, which she's an Onmyoji card, and then she also says whenever a Shikigami follower is put into your field, you give it Ward. And then on Fanfare, if there's at least 7 spells and Onmyoji cards in your cemetery, you summon a Paper Shikigami, which is a 2/2, and then you give your leader 2 health, which is great. And the paper Shikigamis are 2/2s, and when they die, you get a draw card and discard a card. And then you also have stuff like Shikigami Summons, which is great. It's a 2-drop Onmyoji spell, and it says you just summon a Paper Shikigami token. And if there's at least 7 spells and Onmyoji cards in your cemetery, you also draw a card. Just super, super strong. There's Demon Caller, which also pumps up your Shikigamis. So he's a 3-drop 3/3. And then whenever a Shikigami follower is put on your field, you give it +1 attack and rush. And then on the Evo, he's a 4/4, and then he summons a Paper Shikigami, which also gets +1 attack and rush. So him by himself is just really good value, because you play him and you Evo him, so you have him as a 4/4, and then you have your Paper Shikigami, which is a 3/2 with rush. Yeah, this deck is just really, really strong and resilient. Also, look at this little mouse and this top hat. Little mouse in the top hat. There's some other cards to take note of, like this Mirror of Truth, which is going to be played pretty heavily once Earthcraft Rune becomes like a thing again, and it definitely will. I think in the current Japanese meta, or at least in the previous sets meta, Rune, like Earth Rune, was like the menace. So it even got cards that were banned, and I think Mirror of Truth sees play at some point in that deck. All right, let's move on to Dragoncraft. Dragoncraft is also another really sweet one that I haven't played as much recently, but I'm looking forward to jumping back into quite a bit in this next set. I have been playing a little bit of like the Galmu stuff, but not as much as some of the other decks. And we got Phylene here, and Phylene is my absolute favorite like dragon character. She in the digital version of Shadowverse, this is my leader of choice, right? I have a couple other ones because I've been playing that game since start, so I actually have a bunch of leaders, but Phylene is my leader of choice. And yeah, we finally get her in here, and she's only a 1-drop here, and she's a 2-drop in digital, and she also doesn't have an Evo thing like she does in digital too. You just do the effect on Fanfare. So she's a 1-drop 1/3 Fanfare. You select the enemy fall on the field and you engage it, which means you know, rest it, you tap it, you turn it sideways so it can be attacked. And if it doesn't refresh during its controller's next start phase, so you basically lock down one of their allies, one of their followers for a whole turn. And then on Fanfare, if Overflow is active for you, then you search your deck for a White Frost Whisper and you put it in your EX area. And a White Frost Whisper is a spell that says it costs 1 less to play if Overflow is active for you, so it'll cost just 1 if Overflow is active for you. And it says you select an engaged enemy fall on the field and then you destroy it. If there's a Phylene on your field, you deal 2 damage to the selected follower's leader. So basically for 3, you can just blow up anything, right? So you play your Phylene, engage one of their dudes, go get your White Frost Whisper if you have Overflow, and then you play it. So it's actually only for 2 resources, right? Because you have to have Overflow to go search, and then you have to have Overflow, and this will reduce the cost. It's still really, really good. And playing Phylene early is also still really, really good for engaging an enemy follower, so you can then attack into it, or you can even do stuff like a 2-for-1 situation if they already have an engaged follower, blow it up with the White Frost Whisper, and then engage another thing. It's just really good. She's super, super powerful, and she's just a 1-drop. Great card. And then you also have Garyu, and Garyu is his own archetype, and as far as I can tell, it didn't see a ton of play, but it's still really cool, and it's one of the decks that I'm like, I actually kind of want to build this. So Garyu is a 5-drop 3/4. He evos for 1, Fanfare draw a card, and he says, while this card is in your field, each other dragon follower on your field has ward. So basically just makes everything really, really annoying. And then when you evo him, he's a 4/5, and then you can summon a Dragoncraft follower that costs 5 or less from your hand. So he just kind of turbo stuff out. So for 6 play points, you play him, evo him, and then you get another 5-drop. So for 6 play points, you get 9... Wait, no, that's not even... That's 11? Math and stuff? 11 character, 11 followers worth of value for 6 play points. And then, same thing, while he's on the field, each other dragon follower has ward. He's good. He has his own archetype, and he has some cards in here that, like, directly support him. Let's see if I can find it. Yes, this one right here. The Jade Long Tactician is a 5-drop, conveniently enough to summon with his Garyu's Evo effect. It's a 3/5 with Storm, and then on strike, you select another follower in your field and give it +1/+1. If it's Garyu, you give it +2/+2. So that's crazy value. If you do this, you get a 6/7 Garyu, and you also get this 3/5 that has Storm and also Ward, because Garyu gives a ward. I don't know. It's cool. It's cool. It's something I definitely want to try. We have Phoenix Empress. I don't think this sees too much play, but she's kind of a weird and cool card. She's a 5-drop 5/3 with Rush. And when she dies, you lower your max play points by 1, and then she just comes back onto the field engaged. It seems like a pretty risky card, but it's cool, and so the art's beautiful. I don't know. It makes me want to try it. And similarly, we have the Worm God of the Skies. It just makes me want to try it. It's such a cool effect. It's a 4-drop 4/4. But it can only be played from hand, so you can't cheat it into play with various effects, like Garyu, actually. Well, actually, no, I think you can. I'll have to look at the rules. This says summon it, or this one says play, and it might be distinctive between summoning and playing. What I think this actually means is playing from the EX area versus playing it in your hand. So you might be able to summon it with Garyu. Don't take that for, 100%. I'm not 100% sure. But check the FAQs. Actually, maybe there's an FAQ already on here. Hold on. Let's see. FAQs. Can I select the follower that's already attacked? No, we don't care about that. Can this follower's ability? No, we don't care about this. Oh, can this follower's... Oh, okay, so... Haha! Check the FAQs. Can this follower be put on the field with Phoenix Roost? Yes, an ability putting a follower on the field is different to playing it. Okay, cool. That's what I was getting at. So, yes, you can put this onto the field with Garyu. Cool. Anyway, so 4-drop 4/4 evos for 1, and you can pay 2 play points and bury this card from your EX area, and you select a follower on your field, and you give it +4/+4 for the rest of the turn. It can't attack enemies, which is really, really interesting. Yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's just really, really interesting. And then when you evo it, it becomes a 5/5 On evolve, give your leader +3, and then on last words it goes into your EX area, which is also really interesting. And then you can do the ability from the EX area to give another follower +4/+4. I actually want to check the frequent last questions again. Can I select a follower that has already attacked with this follower's ability? Yes, you can. Okay. Can this follower's active ability only be played while it's in my EX area? Yes, it can. Okay. Cool. Anyway, it's cool, and it makes me interested in it. Yeah, there's also some just other cards with just absolutely beautiful art here. But I think we're just gonna kind of move on to Abyss. I think I was gonna maybe talk about kind of like Erd at home. Dragon Blader's kind of like Erd at home, sort of. He's a 4.55 EVO from 1, and on Fanfare each player puts a dragon in their EX area, which is the 5-5/5 token. 5-5/5, 4-5/5, and on evolve it becomes a 6/6, and you select a card in an EX area and you banish it. So you kind of give them a dragon and then you banish their dragon. I don't know about this guy, but I do like this Flamewing Might that just gives one of your dudes +2 attack. This feels like somehow breakable with a combo or something. I'm not sure, but let's get on to one of my favorite cards of the entire set, Ginsetsu Great Fox. Obviously. So Ginsetsu is a 6-drop 1/5 that evos for 1, and on Fanfare you put 5 one-tailed fox tokens into your EX area. And the one-tailed fox tokens are 1/3 yokai followers with Rush and Ward. We'll go down and we'll find the tokens real quick because these tokens are very, very relevant. So we need to go down to the tokens. Here's the Paper Shikigami token. Here's the Celestial Shikigami token. But here is the one we care about for this, the one-tailed fox. So it is a 1/3 with Rush and Ward that costs 2. Because these go into the EX area, we will have to play them from the EX area. However, Ginsetsu's got you covered, because when you evolve her, she becomes a 1/9 big booty. And while she's on the field, any yokai follower you play costs 2 less. So all of our fox tokens, all of our one-tailed foxes are free. They cost 0 now. And then anytime a yokai follower on our field would deal damage, it deals that much +1 instead. So that counts Ginsetsu as well, because she is also a yokai follower. But it also counts all of our little foxes and all of our other cards in the deck as well that are yokai. And then she also says whenever yokai we control leaves the field, she gets a permanent +1 attack. She just gets +1 attack. So what you do is you play your Ginsetsu. You can evo her for 1 play point, so 7 total. And then you just jam all of your little foxes. They're all super annoying. They all have Rush and Ward. And then whenever they leave the field, Ginsetsu gets bigger and she just becomes huge. I really love this card. This is 100% a deck that I'm building, one of the first decks that I'm building. And you build it into that kind of like Rulenai control silence style deck. And this is one of our big top ends. It's really good. It's really cool. I'm very much looking forward to this. And one of the ultimate rare cards is the Evoed Ginsetsu, and that is one that I'm also very, very much looking forward to getting at least 2 copies of for my Ginsetsu deck. All of the ultimate rare cards are absolute bangers, by the way. We'll talk about them a little bit more in the end. So what else does Abyss get? Well, Abyss also gets some other absolute bangers. Abyss gets Aragavi the Berserker. This dude is a freaking house. So he's a 3-drop 4/3, and on Fanfare you can pay 5 and then deal 5 damage to each other follower on the field. And then he gets +2/+2 and Storm. And then also at the start of your end phase, if Sanguine is active for you, select an enemy leader or follower on the field and deal it 3 damage. So early game, he's a 4/3 that just blasts things for 3 if you have Sanguine. And then late game, he's an 8-drop that smashes everything for 5 and then gets Storm and punches your opponent for 6. He's very, very, very good. All Sanguine decks, you need 3 copies of this dude. And they also have Yuzuki, which is another one of my favorites. Yuzuki is a 6-drop 5/5 with Bane, and then on Fanfare, each opponent buries the follower. Necro charge 10, they bury 2 instead. This is super, super powerful because this gets around like can't be destroyed effects and stuff like that. And she also has this other effect of you can pay 3 and discard this card, so when she's in your hand, you can discard her. And then select any follower on the field, deal 5 damage, and bury the top card of your deck. So it helps fuel your Necro charge stuff. Very, very strong, and I think this is a card that goes into your Ginsetsu deck. Yeah, even though she's not a yokai, she's a demon, she's still super, super good. She, like, 5/5 Bane forces your opponent to lose 2 of their things, or earlier in the game, you can just pay 3 and kill something. Yuzuki is very, very strong. Let's see, what else? Oh, this card right here. Unleash the Nightmare. It's not going to really see play now, but this is a card you want to take note of, because one of my favorite decks coming is the Vampire Bat Vania deck, and this is really good in that deck, because this is a 4-drop, costs 1 less to play if you have a vampire, and then it just summons 3 forest bats and you draw 2 cards. So for 3 play points, if you have a vampire, you summon 3 1/1s and you draw 2 cards. Very, very good and efficient card. We also have this Rookie Succubus, which may or may not see play in that forest bat deck. It's a 1/1 that summons bat when it comes into play and when it dies. And you also have some like yokai stuff that synergizes with Ginsetsu, but Ginsetsu, Aragave, Yuzuki, these are some of the key ones. Oh, and like this Unleash the Nightmare. Very, very good. All right, next we have Haven. And the Haven deck that I'm personally looking to build, rather upgrade, is my Omen of Repose, or my, what I've been calling it, my Deus Ex Machina deck. Because it's a deck that really takes advantage of getting those extra play points. Like Deus Ex Machina gives you 4 play points back, and so that lets me do stuff like Acolyte's Light and still play stuff on my turn. And Karula Arts Master just helps with that, and so I just get straight up upgrades for my deck that I already really enjoy. And so Karula is a 3-drop 3/3 Evos for 1. By the way, you can tell which of these characters are fighting in the isekai arena, because they have this arena keyword here. So he's Arena Faith, and Ginsetsu also had Arena. A lot of the legendary cards had Arena. So like Garyu has Arena, Kuan has Arena, all that kind of stuff. Ralmia, Kagamitsu. Actually, Ralmia does not have Arena. Ralmia is Officer Supreme, but Kagamitsu. And then, of course, I think both of the forest? No, just the Laimaga. Yeah, she looks so cool, though. Anyway, just wanted to point that out because it will matter in a little bit. Let's go back to Karula. So Karula is a 3-drop 3/3. You can evo him for 1, and this says at the start of your end phase, if you have at least 2 play points, deal 2 damage to each enemy leader. If you have at least 4 play points, draw a card. And if you have at least 6 play points, select up to 1 enemy fall on the field and destroy it. So you just want to have Karula out, and you want to keep up some play points or have stuff that gives you back play points. And then when you evo him, he becomes a 4/4, and it says at the start of your end phase, you recover 2 play points. Then, if you have at least 2 play points, deal 2 damage to each enemy leader. If you have 4, draw a card, and if you have 6, select an enemy follower and destroy it. And so this works really well with any of the cards that say, like, at the beginning of your end phase, you get 2 play points back. Doesn't synergize as well as the ones that give you play points back on your opponent's turn, but still, very, very useful. And then we have Wilbert, who is one of the key cards for the new Ward deck. So there is a Haven Ward deck. Well, there already has been, but it's getting some support here with Wilbert, the Grand Knight, which is a 5-drop 4/5 with Ward. On Fanfare, you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, and then from among them, you can summon a follower with Ward, not named Wilbert, that costs 5 or less. Put the rest in on the bottom of your deck in any order, and then whenever a follower with Ward is put onto the bottom or from your field into the cemetery, deal 1 damage to each enemy leader. So you get some Ward dudes, and then when they die, you do some damage. And there's a bunch of Ward stuff in this set that helps with that. I want to mention one of the big key cards of Haven that you're going to see in a lot of decks is this dude right here, the Boost Kicker. Boost Kicker is a 2-drop 2/2, but on Fanfare you can pay X, which is in any number you want, and then you deal X damage to each enemy follower on the field. So for example, when you play him, cost 2 play points, and then you can play an additional, I don't know, 5 play points, and then deal 5 damage to each enemy follower on the field. So for 7 total, play him, deal 5 damage to each enemy follower, and at the start of your end phase, you recover 1 play point. So goes really, really well into the Karula deck, but also this card is just insane. He's just a super efficient card. Early game 2-drop 2/2, late game blow up your opponent's entire board. Very, very good. And you also have some like Ward support. Like we have like this Holy Lancer. Holy Lancer. So it's a 5-drop Holy Lancer. It's a 3/4. You can evo it for 1. It has Ward. If there's another follower with Ward on your field, you select an enemy follower on the field and deal 3 damage. So this directly is very powerful with Wilbert, because on Fanfare you can go get a you look at the top 5, and if there's a Holy Lancer on it, you just slam it on the field because it's a 5-drop or less. And then since you already have a follower with Ward in Wilbert, you get this Fanfare. And then you can Evo it for 1. It becomes a 4/5, and you select another enemy fall on the field and deal 4 damage. So just really, really efficient use of this kind of stuff. So this is a deck. It's a real deck. It'll do Ward stuff. It'll be really annoying for sure. All right, let's move on to the Mammoth Gods Coliseum. This is the titular Coliseum that all the Paragons are fighting on top of. Like literally, it's on top of this mammoth. Look how rad that is, dude. So this is, I'm not sure if this is an actual deck, but it's kind of cool. So Mammoth Gods Coliseum is a 7/8 for 7 Fanfare. Each player buries each follower on their field except for 1. So everything dies except for 1. This card, by the way, very, very cool for Glory Finder. Last words, search your deck for a Coliseum on high and summon it, then shuffle your deck. So you go get this 6-drop amulet, and that says Fanfare. Each player looks at the top 3 cards of their deck. They may summon a follower among them, any follower, then bury the rest. You can go get, I don't know, Israfil if you hit it off the top, Bahamut. And then while this card's on the field, if a follower's on the field attacks, or if a follower on the field can attack a follower, it can't attack leaders. So it makes them so the followers have to fight each other. Seems really annoying. It seems really, really like interesting. So yeah, I kind of want to do this with Glory Finder, to be honest. The best card I think from neutral is Babad Katha, and good old, I think I called her Bad Kathy in my top 10 neutral cards video. Bad Kathy's really good. She's a 3-drop 2/3. You can Evo for 2, and then on Fanfare you pick one of these abilities, and then you Evo her, you get to choose another one of 3 abilities. And so on Fanfare, you can either give a fall on your field +1/+1, you can give your leader +2 health, or you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck and put any number back on the top or on the bottom. And then when you Evo her, she becomes a 4/5, which is great. She actually gets +2/+2, so it goes from a 2/3 into a 4/5. There we go. Now you can see it. And it says, on Evolve, choose one of the following. Engage each enemy follower on the field, which is awesome. Deal 2 damage to each enemy leader, or put the top card of your deck into your EX area. So she kind of like, you know, her first side abilities kind of synergize with her second side abilities, right? So you can kind of like stack your deck, then put it in your EX area, or you can pump up one of your followers so they can attack into the engaged followers, or you can heal some life and then deal some damage. So she's really good. She's just neutral, so she fits into a lot of decks. Great card. And probably one of the big chase cards for the ultimate rare, because she's got a very nice ultimate rare. We also have some other weird cards that I just kind of like really love, like this one, Mithra Daybreak Deity. I'm not going to play this in any constructed like competitive decks, but I am going to play this in Glory Finder. There's a lot of cool Glory Finder stuff in this set. So she's a 6-drop 5/5. She evos for 1. Fanfare. Each player rolls a 6-sided dice. Love it. If they roll a 1, 2, or 3, they draw 2 cards. If they roll a 4, 5, or 6, they discard 2 at random. This is so great. Glory Finder, man. Just everyone. All right, let's start rolling some dice. And then when you Evo her, she becomes a 6/6. On Evolve, declare any number 1 to 6, then roll a 6-sided die. If you roll the declared number, if you did the called shot, you heal for 5, and then you search your deck for any card to put into your EX area, then shuffle your deck, and you recover all of your play points. This is just the absolute 1 in a 6 called shot. Roll the dice, see if you can get there. I love this card. I love this card so much. It is insane. It's such like a high roll Gampa card, and I think it's super, super fun. Perfect card in Glory Finder. I would not probably play this in competitive decks because it's expensive, but making everyone do this first effect is just really fun, I think. And then shout out to Goblin Reserve, who likes to comment on our videos. Shout out Goblin Reserve. Hey, yo, there's goblins. Look at this goblin. Goblin Reserve, goblins, bazooka goblins. Look, the art is pretty sick on here. There's also some other cards I didn't mention that like synergize with like the Coliseum stuff. So we have like Kot here. She's a 3-drop 3/3. This card costs 3 less to play if there's a Coliseum on high in your field, and then you can Evo her, so she's like a 0-drop if you have the Coliseum. And then when you Evo her, she becomes a 4/4. On Evolve, search your deck for an Arena card, reveal it, and then put it in your hand, and then shuffle your deck. And like I mentioned those cards that had Arena, right? So we had Wilbert, and Karula had Arena, yada yada yada, Ginsetsu. So this is a way to go search for them if that's something that you want to do. And kind of rounding off talking about the individual cards, we have the 2 leaders of the set. There's only 2 in the set, but they're both gorgeous. We have Licorice, Soothing Venom. If I get this will be my Forestcraft leader of choice. And then we also have Oracle of Waterworm, which is also beautiful. I still like my Zernitra, but if you don't have Zernitra, this is a really good one to get. It's a really good one to get. I think I want, from my opening my case, I think I want this one, the Licorice Soothing Venom, because I do like my current forest leader, but I think I like her more. I like her vibes. And then, finally, let's talk about the big chase cards of the set, other than the leaders, and that's the ultimate rare card. So we have the ultimate rare Limaga. She's gorgeous. This is the Evo version. We have the Evo version of Ralmia, Sonic Racer. Absolutely gorgeous. What's so cool about this set is every single one of these ultimate rare cards are playable bangers, right? I know the Hunter deck isn't quite as in high demand, but this card is gorgeous. I mean, come on. Like this silver-haired Valkyrie character, she looks awesome. And then Ralmia is just a super good playable. Obviously, Kuan's gonna be one of the most expensive cards in the entire set, like the ultimate rare Kuan, because Kuan is a disgusting house, and I'm all here for it. Obviously, Phylene, as mentioned, Phylene is one of my favorite characters in all of Shadowverse. So this is probably my number 2 most wanted card. I mean, obviously I want a Kuan because Kuan's very expensive, and I'm gonna be playing with Kuan, and so getting your Kuans is obviously what you want to be. So this is technically my number 1, but outside of that, we're gonna have Ginsetsu. Definitely want my Ginsetsus, and definitely want my Phylene. So these are like the main ones I want. And then there's also Ralmia, which I'm gonna be playing Ralmia, probably 2 Evo Ralmias at least. And then I'm playing Karula as well. I mean, like I said, absolute bangers. So when I open up my case, gonna be very happy no matter what I get here. And then of course the gorgeous Bob Katha, which I said, super playable. Very, very strong card, and I'll be needing one of these as well. So, yeah, this is perfect. So let's now shift gears a little bit, about 30 minutes into this, and let's quickly go over some of the decks. So these are in no particular order. Well, they're kind of in a particular order. So this one here it's hard to see, but these are all, by the way, these are all winning decks from the Japanese meta, and I've kind of cherry-picked the ones that I'm interested in as starting points for me building my own decks. And then I'll kind of tweak them as I go and how I see it. But I love this deck in particular. Whoever built this deck, chef's kiss. Because this has Ektar. Let me make sure you can see this on the screen. Yeah, you can. Okay, this has Ektar, 2 Ektar, 3 Ginsetsu, 3 is it Yuzuki? I was gonna say Suzuka. I think it's Yuzuki. Too much Musume, Silent Suzuka. I think it's Yuzuki. He has 3 Dark Angel Olivia, so literally my favorite cards in the game. And then it's got stuff like your Bellringers, Demonium. It's got your I can't remember what this guy's called, like Death Dealer or something like that. Yeah, this is great. So, and also it's got your 3 of Rulen Eyes as well. So this is your Abyss control that's running Ginsetsu. So very much looking forward to this. And then the Evo deck, you can see, has 2 Ginsetsu, 2 Rulen Eye. Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff. So this is one that I'm 100% building. It's probably one of the first ones I'm building. You know, anyone that's running 3 Olivias and then also like 3 Ginsetsus and Ektar, dude, hell yeah. And then we also have Sanguine Abyss. I'm also building Sanguine Abyss. Just kind of like updating my current version of Sanguine Abyss. And as you can see, it has a lot of similar cards that we've seen before. It's got your Disciple of Lust. It's got Dark General, Cerberus. It has our new boy Garavi. It's got Jerry, Finas. Yeah, so this is another one that I'm definitely going to be building. I'm not sure if I'm going to be running Volnarek in this deck. I might though. This particular list is not, but I might. I don't know. I'll have to see. I'll have to see how things shake out. I do like Volnarek quite a bit, but I'm definitely building Sanguine Abyss. And then next up we have. I'll have to zoom in on this one. Next up we have Sword. And I think this is the Sword deck that I like the most. And this is just kind of like an updated version of your Usurpation Sword. But it also uses, you can see it has Ralmia. These are the promo Finas. It does have some of those new cards like I mentioned, like the 1-drop 1/1 that can't take combat damage and you can pump them up and give them rush. We have the return of Maid Leaders here. We have Kagamitsu. We have stuff like our Disciples of Usurpation. And yeah, this deck looks really, really sweet. Yeah, I'm probably going to build this. You can still do your whole Floor Fencer into Ralmia type play. It also has your girl Octress. Yep, so this is definitely definitely the Swordcraft style that I'm gonna be building, but I'm not sure if it's gonna be this exact list, but I think this is a really cool starting point at least. So yeah, there's that. Then we have, I'll have to zoom back out again. Reset. So now we have a couple forest lists, and I have two actually that I kind of want to go over. So this one is the Hunter Forest deck. And I think this is the one that I'm personally most interested in. It still uses Elephant, right? And it has Silent Suzuka, which I also am a big fan of. But it has all of like the hunter type cards. And so I want to try this out. I'm not sure how good this is. This deck didn't see a ton of play, but you know, this is one of the lists that did see some success, and I want to give it a shot. And then on the other hand, we have this list, which I think is one of the top Grand Prix winning lists, and this is your fairy, your fairy forest, right? It's got Ramataz or Amataz or whatever his name is. We have the fairy dragon. You see a lot of kind of like your staple fairy type cards here. Spinaria is still here. We see Roach. Yeah, and so I'm definitely going to be building this deck as well, because I think there's not a ton of overlap between these two, and so I'll probably be able to build both of these pretty easily. So I'll probably build both of these forests, and hey, maybe I'm going to really love forest this set, so I'm going to build both of those forests probably, at least some version. This is an example of a top winning Kuan list, and as you can see, we have our boy, or maybe you can't see it quite as well, but yeah, he's right here. We have our boy Kuan 3 of, D-Shift 3 of, and then a bunch of the Kuan support cards, like the Shikigami summons and all this good stuff. And so I'm building this deck as well. This is one that's interesting that I'll be playing around with quite a bit. I think a lot of people have their own little tweaks here and there, what the right numbers is, like do I run 2 of this or run 3 of this or whatever, but definitely one of the top decks in the game, and yeah, looking forward to building this one as well. You're gonna hate it. It's so good. Then we have Dragon. I think I have 2 Dragon lists here. Yeah, I have 2 Dragon lists here. We have one Dragon list that is kind of just a, well, it's oh, I forgot his name already. I'm still learning all their names. It's the Garyu. Yeah. So this is a Garyu deck. As you can see, he's right here. He's Garyu. And so he's Garyu, and you also still run your Fileens, you got your Bell Ringers. This is kind of more of like this deck that you can just use Garyu to cheat stuff out into play. You have this really late game powerhouse cards of like the Path to Purgatory. You're still running your Shenlongs here. And then of course, we have your Fortes. This is running the Rhinoceros thing, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I don't know. This deck seems cool. I saw this and I'm like, I kind of vibe with this. And then we have your Disdain Dragon, which is literally just an upgraded version of the Disdain Dragon that is pretty commonly played here. We're just kind of adding in your Fileens. So I already have this deck. I'm just gonna slap in some Fileens, and we're gonna be good to go. And then the final deck I want to talk about is one that I'm also very excited for. This is the upgraded version of my Deus Ex Machina deck. And as you can see, we have Deus Ex Machina. We're running the Omen of Repose. What's his name? Marwyn. We're running Marwyn. We also have like the Boost Kicker and some of those other really sweet cards we talked about here, like the legendary dude here. And well, there's a 0-drop here that I didn't mention. What does the 0-drop do? I think it's pretty good. Yeah, it's Focus. Can't be played during your turn. If you have at least 2 play points, give your leader +1 and draw a card. Yeah, okay. Yeah, this card's really good. It just helps you cycle through your deck and also draws you a card. You just play it on your opponent's turn, as long as you have at least 2 play points. But yeah, Karula and really good Haven stuff. This is basically the deck that I'm already running, just like with better stuff. So very much looking forward to this, and I hope you look forward to what is essentially going to be my big deck deep dive after the set comes out and after I build all of those decks. This set is shaping up to be, I'm gonna try to find it on here, so it'll be our background when we talk. This set is shaping up to be awesome, super cool. Like, there's great, powerful stuff for every single class in the entire game, and ooh, I can't wait to start deck building and playing. Let me know, by the way, if you're watching this far. I'm not sure how many people are going to be watching this far, but if you are watching this far, let me know in the comments section what decks you would like to see gameplay of first, because I'm going to be doing more gameplay videos going forward for Shadowverse Evolve. I already did a couple for the previous set and for Omens, and I'm going to be doing even more going forward with more guests, and it's just going to be a great time. So let me know what decks you want to see. I want to get a nice little like scatter shot of a bunch of different decks. Maybe I'll even try to get my guests to do like a rogue off-meta meme deck. Maybe we can do like a Mysteria deck versus like a Coliseum deck or something. I don't know. We can come up with some cool stuff. So let me know. And thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you've watched this far. Please. And helps grow the channel and helps show more people this game that we all love, pushes the algorithm, gets the video out to more eyes, all that kind of good stuff. So I appreciate it. And we'll see you next time for some more Shadowverse Evolve content. Have a good one, everyone. See you later.